here's the thing. For everybody listening, don't make the same mistake the Bengals just did in any facet of your life.
People are going to get hurt. It's the hockey season.
What about the Jared Cook play on the sideline?
I was very tempted to just put defense.
I'm saying it right now. If Anthony Davis is out for the playoffs, they don't make it out of the first round.
Come on, Austin and I've been saying this ever since Joe Burrow got injured.
I don't really think the Dodgers are going to make the World Series this year. I feel like they'll make it to the NLCS.
The Fernando Tatis extension, because that really surprised me.
Like you said, Ovechkin, he's getting older. He hasn't been playing as well as I imagined. He's one of the greatest goal scorers of all time, but he hasn't started off this season as hot as I would hope.
Hi, I'm Jeff Allen, and you're listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NFL Opinions of the Week. I'm Kevin, and I'm joined by the man that we're going to talk about. Are these people on treacherous territory? What are your thoughts, Austin?
Yeah, this is really a part of the season where we get to finally hear some coaches firing. I feel like for a little bit we could talk about the Frank Reich firing, which I'm completely against for two reasons. One, it's his first year with the team. I'm against, unless there is some Urban Meyer level things happening, you can't fire the coach. Number two, he wanted Stroud, and the owner made him take Young, and then he fired him. So This is the owner saving face. I think it's a horrible move. And while I don't necessarily think Reich should have been the guy to be hired in the first place, it's just not necessarily respectful because it's not his fault.
Yeah, I was shocked that Frank Reich was fired, and he's the first coach to be fired. I was shocked by that. I did not know the Stroud versus Young.
Yeah, he wanted Stroud and the owner wanted Young.
And also, the roster's pretty bad. So I don't blame Frank Reich for that.
I agree.
So, yeah, and he's now the first guy ever to get fired in back-to-back seasons during the season, which is just terrible. I think Frank Reich's a good coach. It's just he didn't have a quarterback in Indianapolis. And part of that could have been him, because I think he bet on Carson Wentz himself. That did not work out. And it looks like he didn't get the quarterback he wanted. So, to me, that's been the biggest thing. So, I don't know if he's a top-tier coach, but I think he's a good coach, but it's a good coach that needs a quarterback.
Yeah, I'm against firing him. I'm always against firing first-year head coaches. But let's get into the main part of the video. And for me, I think there's only two candidates that that are on next level hot seats at the moment. And it's really between I'll say who I think's going to get fired first, and then I'll say who you say, and then we'll go on. I think it has to be Ron Rivera. Jack Del Rio got fired, and that's just a safe face move. I don't think Jack Del Rio is necessarily a bad coordinator. I think that, again, just trying to keep Ron Rivera's job for a couple more weeks, I think he is the first to be fired.
Yeah, I agree. Ron Rivera is my pick. I'm curious if we have the two guys. But yeah, for the same reason, there's already trouble going on in Washington. The Frank Reich one was surprising to me. I know they had a bad season, but it's his first year. There was nothing really blowing up. There wasn't anyone else fired beforehand. Yeah, Jack Del Rio getting fired. It's, like you said, trying to save face. And he's been there a while, and he's just struggled, especially this year. So, to me, it's time, and I think he has to be the first guy fired. I'll say the second guy, since we're both in agreement, Ron Rivera is probably going to be the first guy fired, or he'd be the guy we'd fire first. Then Sean McDermott, to me, is the second guy.
We have a different second guy. My second guy is Brandon Staley, the Chargers head coach. I think he's on a hotter sheet than Sean McDermott because
that's a good one.
But the Sean McDermott one's good. I think those are easily the top three. Can we agree?
Yeah, Brandon Staley. I forgot about Brandon Staley. Can I make my case for Sean McDermott?
Sure. I'll make my case for Staley afterwards.
The guy is a defensive head coach, and clearly his defenses don't play well at the end of games with the game on the line. I don't know what that defense was against the Eagles when they got the field goal. That was terrible defense. And then you go back to 13 seconds. What defense was that? Both great quarterbacks, great execution, but also it seemed a little bit too easy. Then you go to the drive of the game where they lose. Man, that was wide open for Jalen Hurts. You're a defensive guy. they're having mistakes. I don't know what is wrong with him. He's been there a long time, and it just seems like they've gotten worse. They need a new voice, and if you want to save the season this season, you got to get rid of Sean McDermott.
Yeah, Sean McDermott, I do think will get fired and should get fired for many of the reasons you mentioned. But I think Brandon Staley's a little bit more dire. They're 4 and they lost again last night, right? So they're 4 and 11. Yeah, they're 4 and 11. I just checked.
Wow.
Or not 4 and 11, 4 and 7 is what I meant to say. Through week 11 through 11 games. Through 11 games, they're 4 and 11. Not 4 and 11. I keep on messing it up. 4 and 7. It's horrible. And especially after they were last year. And what really ties it down is the fact that last year they were in a playoff game up 27 points. I know it's on the road, but you have to win that game. And ever since then, they have gone 4 and 8. Since that game on, 4 and 8 if you include that game. And that's not what you need with Justin Herbert, who I still think is one of the most talented QBs in the league. I know injuries have been a big problem. Joey Bosa keeps getting hurt, Rashawn Slater, a lot of other guys, but there's something inherently wrong with this team. I think it starts at the top.
Yeah, and I wasn't a huge fan of the hiring anyway with Brandon Staley. I was a huge fan of Sean McDermott. I thought he was fantastic. Really soured on that. But yeah, Brandon Staley's a great point. And I'm curious about that because they did lose to the Ravens. And Staley was supposed to be this guy that he's going to go for it all the time. Hasn't really worked out in his favor. They brought in Kellen Moore, who I thought was going to be better. Has not worked out. I'm curious if he's going to be the interim coach. Because Brandon Staley probably gets fired.
I think Kellen Moore will be promoted and will be the next head coach because I don't think it's his fault. I don't blame him. These are more inherent issues that I don't think he has control over.
Yeah, because I expected a lot more. Yeah, I'm still high on Justin Herbert. It just seems like they've struggled. I think there was a stat of he's scored so many touchdowns and then the team has given up so many touchdowns.
Yeah, there's a lot of problems. And I'm just wondering, honestly, which of those next two, which would be Sean McDermott and Brandon Staley, do you think we see another head coach fired before the regular season ends? Do you think?
I'm going to say yes.
I agree. I think by maybe this next week for Washington. Washington's just in such a bad situation at the moment that I just truly believe that they have to start anew.
Yeah, and I think in-season firings this is already the second in-season firing because I forgot about McDaniel.
McDaniel is in
Miami. Okay,
Miami.
there's an S. Yeah.
Yeah, Josh McDaniels, Mike McDaniel.
Got it. Thank you. So I think in-season firing, for a first-year coach, it has to be Urban Meyer. But for guys that have been there a while, McDermott's a great candidate. Rivera's a great candidate. Staley, you could wait till the end of the season.
I think they will. I think Staley. Okay. Well, I don't know if McDermott or Staley gets fired during the regular season. I think Ron Rivera will.
And that's why he's our first. I think McDermott, if the Bills lose another game, I think.
But the problem is the next game's against the Chiefs. If they lose to the Chiefs, are you really going to fire him after that?
What happens if they get blown out by the Chiefs? What happens if that offense that has been struggling puts up 40 points?
I mean, the Chiefs scored 31 last week.
I was about to say, are they really a struggling offense because they did put 31 points? But that's a good point.
I think if Sean McDermott's fired, and after that they play the Cowboys. If they go 6-8 playing Chiefs Cowboys, are they really going to fire him after that?
That's a good point. What happens if they get trounced by the Cowboys?
Again, isn't that game in Dallas?
Yeah, I don't buy that Dallas is a great. No, it's in Buffalo. I know it's in Buffalo. Pretty sure.
You're pretty sure?
Yep, Dallas Cowboys at Buffalo Bills.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's in Buffalo.
Is the Chiefs game in Buffalo?
The Chiefs is at Arrowhead.
He's not getting fired if they lose that.
Yeah,
I don't see it. I don't see it.
Yeah.
The problem is he also in the year with Miami.
What happens if they lose to the Chargers? The Bills.
Oh, 100%. But I don't think it's going to happen. The Chargers are also a train wreck right now.
But yeah, I know, man. I think if they get trounced by the Cowboys, McDermott gets fired.
I don't think they get. I think the Cowboys win that game, but I don't think it's.
I
The
think
Bills
it's
don't
close.
lose by a lot of points. The Bills haven't lost by a lot of points in a long time. I think the Bills lose by like a touchdown. I don't think he gets fired.
Yeah, I think it should be close. I don't know if the Cowboys will win. I don't know. I'm a Cowboys hater, so yeah, that's okay. So we're in agreement on Rivera. Man, I thought you were gonna have McDermott, but Staley is a good pick. Anyone else, I would be shocked if they're fired in season.
100%. Those are the only three I could see getting fired midseason.
Let us know what you think. Do you disagree on us? We appreciate the comments, especially on the Josh Allen video. It was great. Sharing our opinions. I know we're on different opinions. Let us know what you think, and we always appreciate your opinions in the comments, and follow us along for more content on Outsiders Opinions.